Hello, I'm Anni Davey. I've been telling Bible stories to children for many years, and I've got some lovely ones to tell you from the New Testament in this section here. If you want to know about the background, where I got some of the background detail from, you can look it up on the web on truthortradition.com or www.korky.info, where we've written a book called Jesus, Faith and Fact. So it's all in there somewhere, but there's some interesting things here which you may not know. You may think you do know the stories, but wait and see. So let's see what we've got. Hello. About this time of year, I don't know if you've noticed, but there are Christmas trees already appearing in the shops. And you think, my goodness, it's not Christmas for ages yet. But I wondered why we have Christmas trees. And I thought that you might be interested in this story. In 680, which is the 7th century, a long time ago, a young man was born in the town of Crediton. Now, Crediton's about 85 miles from Bristol, sort of south-southwest. So it would take you about an hour and 40 minutes to get there by car, but it was a long way in those days. So this young man, Winfred, decided to follow Jesus. And he was so full of excitement and joy and so amazed at the change in his life and the way he was thinking and everything about it, that he wanted everybody in the world who didn't know about Jesus to hear about him. So he set off and he went on a very long journey. The head of the church in those days was called the Pope, and the Pope lived in Rome in Italy, and Google says that that is 1,311 miles away. He didn't have a skateboard or a car or plane in those days, did he? So he would have either walked or perhaps gone on horseback, but over 1,000 miles is a long way, and it wouldn't have been on good roads either. When he got to Rome, he got an audience with the Pope, and it was very, very special. And when the Pope heard what Winfred wanted to do, he said, "That's a really good idea. Yes, I'm for it. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a bishop. You can be bishop of, let me see." And he made him the bishop of this country here, the whole country. Should we read that together? Read my white letters. He made him the Bishop of Germany. My goodness, well, he was Saxon, so he might have got an inkling of how to speak the language. And the Pope looked at this young man and he thought, he's a good chap. He said, "I'm going to give you a new name. Your name will be Boniface." Now that comes from two Latin words meaning bono and facio, I do good. And the Pope could see that Winfred was really a man who would do good. So from then on, he was known as Boniface. We call him Saint Boniface today. And so he went to a town called Hesse, quite a little town actually, a small sort of villagey town. And he stayed there for a while. And one day he noticed that the town was empty. So he went looking for the villagers to see where they'd gone. And what had happened was that they'd all gone out to the woods. Let's draw some in here, shall we? There are lots more of them than there are here. Lots and lots and lots of them. And they were all worshipping. And he thought, that's wonderful. But then he said to them, "What are you doing here?" And they said, "Oh, we're worshipping the great god Thor, who lives in this oak tree." And Boniface was horrified. He said, "You're doing what? But don't you know that that's rubbish? That's one of the old gods. I worship the living God who made heaven and earth. You don't need to worship something who lives in a tree." And they said, "Oh, you mustn't talk like that. He'll hear you. He'll strike you with a thunderbolt. Oh, you mustn't say things like that." And Boniface said, "I'll show you what I think of him." And he went home and got his axe, great big axe. And he came back and he started swinging his axe at the tree. A great big axe. And the people were horrified. And they said, "You can't do that." There's his axe. And he said, "I'll show you." And he swung at that tree, great big beats of the axe, whack, whack, whack. And nothing happened, and the people were standing there terrified. And he said, "I'll show you." And he went on chopping at the oak tree, and suddenly a gale of wind came from nowhere and blew the tree over before he'd even finished with his axe. And the people waited for the lightning bolt to come. But nothing happened. Nothing at all. And they were very, very frightened, absolutely terrified, because all the time they thought that the god Thor had lived in that tree. We still use the old names of the old gods. If you think about it, the Sun Day, Moon Day, Woden's Day, Thor's Day, all that time, and we still use those funny old names for the words of the names of the days of the week. So he took them across to another hill, and he showed them a beautiful fir tree standing there. And he pointed out to them that it was straight and tall, and it pointed to the heavens. And he told them about the living God, and how following him wouldn't be a frightening experience. It would be one which could forget all about the nasty things that they'd thought and said and did, and could fill them up with joy and peace and a lovely way of living, kindness, self-control, all those sort of wonderful things. And as they looked up through the tree into the night sky, they could see the stars sparkling in the sky through the branches of the trees. And they thought, how wonderful. And he told them about Jesus. And he said to them that Jesus is this. Light, of the Should we read it together? That Jesus was the light of the world, the light of the world. In fact, he's called the Word in the Bible, and there's a part of the old psalm says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. A bit like having a torch on a dark night, really helpful, showing us the way. So that's one of the reasons that we have Christmas trees. And it became a tradition in Germany to have a fir tree every Christmas. And when Queen Victoria married Prince Albert, he was from Germany. And one year she thought it might be a nice thing, because he was a bit homesick sometimes, if she got a Christmas tree and put it up in Buckingham Palace. So that's what she did. And of course, if the Queen did it, everybody else wanted to do it. So next year, lots of people had Christmas trees. And now everybody has a Christmas tree, don't they? Well, nearly everybody anyway. And so we put we put bright things in the tree, and we make it decorated. And we need to remember that it started with, who did it start with? Let's have a look. Saint Boniface. St. Boniface of Crediton, a little town just south of Bristol. Isn't that amazing? And so to help us remember that Jesus is the light of the world, another thing we have at Christmas time are these. Let's have a look what we've got here. What's appearing here? Great big candle. And candles give us lovely light, don't they? Candlelight's very special. So we have a candle there to remind us that Jesus is the light of the world. And all across the world now, where people follow Jesus, they feel as if they've got a light inside them. Whatever goes wrong, whatever goes right, they know that Jesus is with them and will be their friend and their helper, whatever is happening. So I hope that you've enjoyed that story. And remember about it at Christmas time when you get your Christmas tree, about St. Boniface of Crediton and how he started it. Thank you for listening. God bless you.